Hello everybody and a very warm welcome back to New Age F1. My name is Zabe and I'll be on the commentary mic to take you all through for this inaugural round here at the British Grand Prix as it is at Silverstone. Short qualifying and then 26 laps of racing. It's going to be another fantastic one, and for tonight's stream, the stream should be on 60 FPS, and I've got a brand new graphics card, so the stream quality and everything should be a lot better. It won't be a magnificent difference, because obviously a lot depends on the internet as well, and also considering, it's all, the game itself is on my PlayStation and it's just streamed from the PC. So technically, well, it used to be 1080p. It's still gonna be 1080p, but maybe in terms of smoothness and stuff and things like that, could be a bit of a difference out there. Well, now look at this. It is Tyron, the man who still leads the championship, and I think we do have an update here for this week. Tyron has decided to turn off the traction control and should be racing without TC, and that could indeed make things interesting for all of us, for all of you watching, and for these drivers around as well. That would possibly and technically would make it even fun to watch for all out there. But let's see, how is it going to be? I myself am going to be monitoring a little, but there should be drivers, and indeed there are drivers that are going to be right there up on the board, about to come out on the track. Meanwhile, there actually are drivers out on the track there. That is Brooks ahead of everybody. Right behind them is the Red Bull of McLaren of Brando right here on the board, which we could see that is currently making their way on the exit up to the second DRS zone. Or in fact, that actually should be the first one, not the second, around here. Who do you think is going to be the fastest around here? Will it be Tyron once again ahead of everybody, or anyone like the likes of Ryan, their teammate, or let's say Brando Michael, who I don't think is even in the session for tonight, or even Dees could technically give Tyron a challenge right there. But it'll be interesting to see to what they can do, or what anybody can do right there. Sure, Tyron's got no traction control, and TC is off for him this week, but I don't think there's going to be much of a difference, because I'm sure he's turned it off, but he hasn't just turned it off and came on the track here in the qualifying session, and I'm more than sure he's practiced that quite a lot. So by the time he comes on the track and starts racing, or even does a qualifying lap, I'd believe that his race is going to be even better. So there's Brooks in here. I'm not sure if that is another driver, which I'm not sure if it was somebody else here in a Haas with Conor Bell or in another league, so I'm not quite sure. But we'll have a look at it then. Right here, we're looking Brooks getting their lap in for the very first driver to start a flying lap right there on the circuit, as they're just going to be on the exit of the old pit straight up towards Cops and making their way now. Are they going to be able to do any better? Through Cops they go. I'm just trying to find Cops as they just head over into Mickett's and Beckett's, the two corners up on the exit of Chapel Curve, then onto the Hanger Straight, but they're far away from the Hanger Straight right at the moment. Now, that second DRS, and Devon's got a 5-place grid penalty, while we see Brooks, he's on to the Hanger Straight now, into Store Corner, just before the Whale and Club chicane, and then on to the Hamilton Straight to end their lap, while they're just going to make their way into the chicane now. Quite a lot of drivers having started their lap, and it's in fact going to be Edward, the very first driver to go over the line and set up a benchmark time, and that's going to be Brooks over the line. He's going to beat that by a couple of tenths, but is that going to be enough? Because now right behind comes Brando, who's going to go up to the final corner, 27.2, so he's got the benchmark time that's even better than the previous ones. Meanwhile, Conor Bell in the other hasn't been one of the competitive drivers recently. Can he do a lap in? That's going to be very good. No, not right now. What about Romero? What about Romero? And the other McLaren has got the chance, and no, he has not, as he's invalidated his lap. And that's going to be quite a challenge, as he's invalidated. And somebody's not happy because of that. That 5-place grid penalty, one of the drivers getting there in qualifying. Meanwhile, an RB, and that RB should be of Special and Oliver coming around the final corner now, up to the line. There should be a time on the board, and there is a time on the board. That is 28.391, and they invalidate already in turn one, or possibly that could have been intentional. But then Brando has set up an excellent time that nobody is able to beat just yet, unless Dees could do it up into the final corner and to the line. Yes, he can do that. 27.265. And absolutely close between these drivers. 27.280 from Brando and 2.65 from Dees, while Oliver and Connabell now finally has a time on the board. But who are we? Who is it going to be, the driver that we see making their lap better? And Connabell is not so far. There's many drivers, and I feel like Tyron is just completely chilling in the pit. So unless he's going to start from the very bottom of the grid, or he's just going to come out later on the track at the very ending moments before the start of before the end of qualifying, do a lap in, and he can get that to the top. And even if he can't, he still will have enough speed and pace to get himself up to the top. Is it Midu? It is indeed Midu, who goes up to P3. Another driver in the 127s, but slightly off the top two. 27.328. What about Romero in the other McLaren? His teammate completed a lap earlier, and he himself is going to do a lap that is nowhere near anything better, but possibly he was obviously just doing a prep lap, and now should be making their way up towards the couple of corners before they begin their lap again. And yeah, no, simply them starting their lap again, making that fun. And actually, I forgot to update as well that tonight's stream should be in 60 FPS. Usually we stream in 30 frames per second, but obviously on the new GPU, better GPU, we decided to move it up to 60. At least that's pretty much going to be the difference, you know, if anything else isn't. That should be the difference. Meanwhile, we see right now the man on your screens making their way up on the exit of Woodcote and on the main straight, on the old pit straight now into Cops, up on the exit of Cops, still flat out. Could have downshifted and went into 7th, which actually probably is the better choice here around on the exit of Cops there, especially if you personally ask me. He's decided to continue that onto the hanger straight now. The DRS is going to be open, and he nearly goes onto the grass, despite driving on his own there. So that could be getting exciting into Store Corner, still staying in 6th. How good of a lap will this be? While Dees is into the pits. In fact, no, Dees is not in the pits. Their teammate is in the pits. But what about now Romero in on the exit of the chicane into the Hamilton straight over the line, 28.714. And I think it's DJ. Yep, it indeed is DJ in that Alpine, the only Alpine in the session, about to start their flying lap right now. Meanwhile, there is a Red Bull, but that Red Bull should be coming into the pits, I believe, while Brooks is on a flying lap. So are the two Mercedes now out on the track, looking good to get started, while Midu is now going to be doing another lap and possibly has done a very good one right there. Well, Connabell should be coming over the line maybe on a flying lap. No, they're far away from the end of this flying lap, while there's an Williams on the track and on a flying lap, and that is X, but they're going to come into the pits, so that is not going to be a fast lap either. But who do we have now on a faster flyer lap that's also on a flying lap, unless it's DJ that we're watching on the board or somebody else that we can see? And it is indeed we can see is the man on screen now. That is Dees, who's already on pole position, has got the fastest time of the session. He'll make sure to do and go as fast as he can before Tyron could come and beat that time with no problem. It's gonna be Dees going over the line and still extend his pole time, 127.1. What about Mead, who's far away from the end of this? Well, Raichu is just going to be starting their flying lap right there. Meanwhile, the Alpine of DJ now coming onto the final club chicane, onto the Hamilton straight now, over the finish line and quite slow. And will not be fast enough right there. But while the two Mercedes teammates, let's go on board with Ryan up towards turn 1, making their way through to before the it's not the Hangar Straight, it's the Wellington Straight, just before the Wellington Straight into entry, and now they're going to get up to Wellington Straight, up to the floor. They'll get their car, DRS wide open with ERS bit to use as well, just before they could move into Brooklands and get the hairpin done of Lafield before they get the exit up before they get the exit of Woodcote and on the old pit straight. And then comes the old famous corner cops, which gained its popularity even more after 2021 incident in Formula 1 between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Well, it's going to be Ryan now making his way up through Meggetts and Beckett's now again before the Hangar Straight DRS. The 2 DRS zones, in fact 3 DRS zones, no, just 3 DRS zones around here that should make it easy. There's a lot of drivers who could be coming over the line to complete their laps, but we have here the drivers that we expect will be going faster. Ryan is doing an excellent job so far. How good of a lap this will be, you know, we are yet to go on board with Tyrone. We will go as soon as Ryan has got a time on the board. Will this one be the fastest of them all? Yes, this will be 1:26.662. And sure, the Tyrone teammate effect is already affecting on Ryan as he goes top of the timing chart. Will this be the fastest, or will this be beaten by Tyrone? As Tyrone's come over the final corner now, and he's going to beat that already by over 4 tenths. 1:26.243, and he's got the time on the board. Tyrone has got the lap, has got the time that he needed. Didn't matter if he came in early in the qualifying session or later on. He's got the lap in, and now the only 2 drivers that are in the 1:26 are the 2 Mercedes teammates. Mercedes front low lockout right now. That's more than ready for us to have a look at. More than ready for us to watch out that everybody is right now. Surely going to be looking to improve. They're going to be looking to improve. They're going to be looking to get better. But can they get better, though? That is a question they themselves will be answering. Well, Oliver goes over the line and with an invalidated lap, unless they did improve on their time and invalidated only now, and they might have just invalidated actually only now, while we have the Williams of Bruno over the line. 1:32.0 stepping in as a reserve. Meanwhile, Romero in the McLaren on a outlap as well, while DJ is on a flying lap right here. Is this flyer going to be good enough? Is this better than their previous one, or anywhere near the next car that has got 28.7, the car next time? And DJ does get 28.7, but not good enough. Still 9,000 of a second short than Romero before he could get past onto next position, but that's going to be a little bit more of a work than he just has done so. And I think the 2 Mercedes drivers might not come out again. You know, they've got the lap in, they've came in and maybe think that, okay, we're not going to come, let's say, go out anymore. Meanwhile, Ollie has got an invalidated lap, so the next driver who we'd be watching on a flying lap will be their teammate Ian, all the way back on the into Meggetts and Beckett's they go before they come out back again on the on the Hangar Straight. But that's going to be a bit of quite a decent not so fast line, and they're definitely struggling. And already, unless they're just going for a prep lap here, which I've just seen on their steering wheel as their battery is 100%, and definitely their line they were taken into, let's say, Meggetts and Beckett's was not really the fastest, so possibly would have really found it a little bit of a harder time right there. And certainly they would want to get better, meanwhile, than Alpine, but it could be the 2 Williams, and it indeed is the 2 Williams. Bruno is quite slow, has not started their lap yet, while DJ should be coming into the pits now, and they will indeed do that. While the man who is on a flyer right here, it was going to be Devon, but he is not on a flyer. Is it going to be the Aston Martin? No, either. So a lot of drivers in the pits, and those who are out on the track are not on a flying lap, apart from Romero, who has improved 7/10 on his previous lap, as it looks like, though, because he's going quite slowed down on the Wellington straight just before Brooklands to let the Williams get past him. Both Williams drivers going together, so there might be something coming up which we do not or haven't seen just yet in this session. Do let me know if it's lagging and stuff, or if there's anything like that, a bit of a problem, which we can definitely check out for for future or anything, because obviously streaming on a new encoder, so that could get a bit messy if you have not tested it, which unfortunately I haven't. I'm not seeing any frame drops or any encoder issues, so I'd hope that there's no problems, but in case if there is, we can maybe look into them before the end of this qualifying session, while X-Ray is just going to be right behind their teammates. So the bottom four, let's say, are giving each other a challenge in the 130s right there. The only drivers in the 130s, meanwhile one man who is in the on a better and an improvement lap than the previous one, and we might see another driver into the 126, the third driver to enter there will be, and that'll be Dees, who moves up to P3, rather stays P3, but improves on their previous lap time and gets it better, 126.8, and that is Dees, who still stays P3, but into the 126s, and possibly, if not Tyron, maybe, just maybe, if he comes in and comes out again on new tires. I actually haven't even seen the tires, so he's on new tires, and no, he's not got any time to come in and go out again. But possibly, he could do one thing, though, that'll be that simply, just stay out, do an out lap, and then come out again, and then do a lap again, and I think he should be able to do it in the remaining moments, and those remaining moments will make it easy, I'd say so. But how easy will that be? We have no idea yet. We are yet to find out. In fact, we have not found that out at all, as Brando is about to come over the line and start their flying lap. Meanwhile, their teammates, who's looking to get past Brooks, he does get past Brooks. Up to P8 goes Romero. What about the RB drivers? The two teammates, currently one in the pits, the other on the track on their own. Meanwhile, DJ in the Alpine is going to start their flying lap as well. 14 seconds now remaining, so those who go over the line are either going to end their laps or begin their laps before the end of qualifying, and just 3 seconds to go. What a timing from Tyron there. Well, Ryan has taken the checkered flag, Dees has taken the checkered flag, Raichu and Midu are on a lap right here. Will they be going for it though, because they've got completely empty batteries? Raichu is not though, Midu might, but Midu did not improve on their previous lap significantly. But also do know whoever comes over the line now will be taking the checkered flag. So it'll be the end of qualifying for Ian right there. They're not improving. Same should be the case for Romero. But what about Brando? They could have found at least 2.5 tenths. That could have been good enough for at least P5 or P4. But that's not going to be good enough either, because they've not got the time right now, and they have not got the lap in, as they invalidated it, and it is not a good one at all to I mean, they're in a decent position, P6, but at least the improvement they would have been looking for, they could not get it. What about DJ? They will not be getting the improvement either. What about the Williams of X? They will not be doing that either. What about the two Red Bulls? Midu Raichu is about to get over the line, and 2 seconds down on his time, while Tyron did not need to go again. He has decided to do that already. So probably just do the bit of another lap and then get himself into a practice session as he's going to increase his time and get further away from the rest of the grid, and that pole time will be extended 26-1, and what a lap that is from Tyron once again. And once more, it is a Mercedes 1-2 and a Mercedes front row lockout here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. It is go, go, go. The action is about to get started here in this race, and these are your qualifying results, ladies and gentlemen. Not sure if Devon's penalty is going to stay or that's going to be reverted, but for that we'll need to do the lobby restart. But then here it comes. Tyron on pole, Ryan in P2 with D's, Raichu, Midu, Brendo, Edward, Devon, Romero and Brooks complete the top 10. Just outside are Oliver, Ian, DJ, Conabel, Bruno, X, the top 6 drivers, the bottom 6 drivers, I should say, outside the top 10. And these are your qualifying results, as I've almost murdered my controller, but hopefully it is all okay. And there we go. It is not far away. We're not far away from the start of this British Grand Prix, as we have a thing right in front of our screens. As you could see, we're currently waiting in the pit lane, so should be getting started within a few minutes, and as soon as we do, we will have the 5 red lights and racing action will start at Silverstone. Pretty much just like every week, it is looking like Tyron will be the strongest driver, but for how long though? Things could go wrong. Things could get interesting right here, because it doesn't always mean he's going to win. He could win though, but it doesn't, as I said, it certainly doesn't mean he will. It's just going to be interesting, and one of the drivers is not happy for getting a time penalty. That is, not the time penalty, sorry, the 5th place grid penalty, which is not a good one at all, as we do have cars out on the track already, and we are ready to go racing right here at Silverstone with Tyron on pole, Ryan in P2, setting up the Mercedes front row lockout. And look at that. A lockout that is just like this. So everybody starting either on the medium or the soft tire, so definitely a top, let's say, a 2-stop strategy right here, that is for sure, with Devon in P13, hard tires for Devon. Meanwhile, Tyron and Ryan in P1 and 2. D's in P3, starting on the soft tires, so definitely he's went for an interesting strategy here. So possibly the plan that I could think of from D's would be to get a better launch off the line of Tyron and Ryan, get ahead of them at the start of the race, and possibly lead a few laps before it's going to be Tyron coming back and taking the lead again. But at least for a couple of laps, he can enjoy that, but only if he gets a launch better off the line though, because Tyron, just knowing how good he is, how good he has been, especially on those race starts as well, would be really, really tricky for let's say, him to catch up. So it'll be interesting, but we'll definitely find out. So Raichu now in P4 with Midu in P5, followed by Brando in P6. Then comes Edward in P7 with Romero, Brooks and Oliver completing out the top 10. With just outside is Ian, DJ on the soft tire as well. And then comes Devin on the hard tire because of the 5-place grid penalty. But then the bottom 3, Conabel, Bruno and X on the soft tire as well. So it's a mix of medium and soft tires with a hard tire from Devon, and we'll find out how good that one is. That could be a smart choice though, but all depending on how the race plans out, and if we do have an early safety car, the soft tire runners are going to be smiling. Simply they could get a free pit stop, but especially if you're on the hard tire, you certainly will not be smiling at all. And there we go. We're ready to go racing with the Mercedes front row lockout. Tyrone, Paul, Ryan in P3 and D's in P3 with Ryan in P2. It's going to be 5 red lights and we go racing here at the British Grand Prix. It's a decent start, not so decent from Tyrone. It's a brilliant start from Ryan off the line. It's a brilliant start from D's as well. He nearly goes into the back of Ryan there and Ryan comes back at him. This one's going to be side by side. D's gets the lead, at least P2 right there ahead of Ryan. With Tyrone in P3 now, has to lose out of the position with Raichu in P4, Miru in P5 at the back fighting with Ian, and what a rapid start Ian's had from P11. What a start on the soft tire as Ian had from P11 to P6. That is brilliant stuff right there. Meanwhile, the two Red Bulls, Raichu and Midu, could be giving each other a hard time there as Tyron's now lost out the place to D's as well. 7/10s the gap to these two. Meanwhile, D's now 7/10s behind Ryan as well. No DRS for first lap of this race, but they could get exciting as it is up towards the hangar straight on the exit of Beckett's and Beckett's. Well, Ian now gets past Midu as well. They nearly make contact, but he does get the overtake done, and it is on at the start of this race. It is all happening on lap 1 for British Grand Prix. Well, now, once again, Midu could come back at him. Well, Midu will be coming up back at Ian. It could be nearly D's. He gets the move done on Ryan, but he will not get the move done. He can't get the move done just right now. It'll be an interesting thing to see whether D's will be able to overtake, or before that he gets overtaken by Tyrone, because sure, Tyrone might have not at the launch of the line. And oh yes, now you could connect the dots, ladies and gentlemen. Tyrone starting without the traction control. Sure, a lot of things traction control is useful for, and definitely one of them is the race starts, because if you do not have traction control on, you're going to get a lot of wheel spin off the line, and that is not good. That's not what you want. It's going to be D's. He's going to take the lead of the Grand Prix, and D's takes the lead on lap 2 as he leads the British Grand Prix on the softer compound tyre. He got a very good launch of the line, but so did Ryan, along with D's. Both got a brilliant launch of the line, with Tyrone slightly off the colors, while Midu loses another place, and that's indeed a 2-stop strategy: soft, medium, hard, and it actually doesn't recommend any of it starting on the medium tires. I'd possibly create a medium soft, medium hard, or a medium hard, soft. Could be getting exciting. Meanwhile, DJ get past Romero. Romero gets past Devin. Both of them ahead of everybody. Meanwhile, the Ferrari of Devin now getting past Romero once more. So the Ferrari's flying, one at the bottom, the other at the top, while D still gets the lead. And already Ryan has been overtaken by Tyrone, and the gap that was 1 second from P1 to P2, already 7/10s, and it is tumbling down slowly again and again. Tyrone might drive the car without the steering wheel at this point if he is to be stopped by anybody in this competition. Nobody is even coming close to Tyrone there, in terms of speed, in terms of performance, at least in these remaining races. And remember, the only one race, as far as I could remember, he has not won. That was in Baku, which was filled with a lot of safety cars, a lot of problems on the grid, and in that one he was denied victory. Otherwise, he has not. Every single driver is almost within 1 second of each other, as Oliver now right behind Midu, who is within 3/10s of Edward, who is right behind, a second behind Ian, and Edward doing a brilliant job in the Aston Martin, running in the top 6, while Tyrone is ever closer, but rather he's gotten ever closer. So has Ryan gotten ever closer as well. It could be Tyrone already trying to get past D's, and Tyrone will have that DRS on the back of his car, and he will nearly get past D's into Store Corner. They're going to be side by side. Is it going to be Tyrone or is it going to be D's? It should be Tyrone there, or maybe D's could come back at him. Still, they're going to be wheel to wheel into Club, and on the exit of Club there, a brilliant exit from D's into the final corner and onto the Hamilton straight. Right behind them comes Raichu. The top 4 are there. Raichu might have a go on Ryan. That could get exciting if it wasn't already 4 laps in. out of 26 we are. Tyrone is on the challenge to get past D's. Definitely those soft tires are going to run out of grip lap after lap, and especially after when he's having to defend from these guys up at the front. That's going to be Tyrone. Even before they could get to the end of this Wellington straight into Brooklands, Tyrone gets the overtake done and leads the British Grand Prix. We have our third leader of the race within 4 laps. But he might be the final one though, or maybe not. Definitely D's tires are not going to be out of, I won't say out of grip, but definitely he's going to have quite a bit of wear on those tires, especially him having to fight these guys at the very front in the start of the race. And now it could either be D's and Ryan fighting, or then it would be Ryan getting past D's and then D's and Raichu fighting for the next couple of laps in this race. Meanwhile, it is Raichu who's getting closer to Ryan as well. Ryan himself has got DRS, but so has D's gotten DRS, being within 1 second of Tyrone there. So 1.6 seconds already. D's will not have DRS onto the Wellington straight. That could get exciting. Right here, is it going to be D's who will be able to defend his position? He's going to use all the DRS, all the battery he's got, but Ryan will use that DRS to his effect. And definitely those soft tires are going to be losing that grip, at least if not this lap, next lap, or in the lap after. Those soft tires are going to be absolutely done and cooked out, and possibly there will be grip, but just moderate grip, and you won't be able to do laps without losing much of time. Meanwhile, one man who might be now losing grip and time on those soft tires, as Bidu is right behind Ian indeed, who started on soft tire in P11, got a mega start of the line, and got up to P6 at the first couple of laps in this race. And now on lap 5, he's in all that pressure and he nearly has to back out of it. Well, Midu's going to switch to the side of him, and side by side, it'll be Midu who gets past Ian. And the 2 RB drivers are now actually side by side, but there comes Ian into the pits. And you definitely expect similar results for the soft tire runners coming into the pits really soon. Maybe these wants to run a little bit longer. It's 26 laps. So possibly what you can do is either do soft, medium, you know, if you could do over, like, let's say 6 laps on these soft tires, then you'd have about 20 laps remaining, which you can either do 10 laps each tire, medium, or medium hard you can do as well. One stop, you've seen Tyrone do a lot of one stops in races where nobody else was. His tire management is quite good, and I think eventually it's better and almost on the other page or as compared to everybody else. So it's a question of whether it'll be good enough or not, but we'll only find out when we have a look at it and we get to know if he's done the job or not, which certainly 3.5 seconds is pulling away from everybody. And as I said last week as well, that even if his tires and stuff are different from everybody, he's got the speed, he's got the pace that nobody else can catch him on. Meanwhile, Ryan nearly got into the back of these there as he gets past these, and once again, it's a Mercedes 1-2. Ryan now in second place, should be seeing these in the pits, and yes he will be. That'll help Raichu move forward, and so will Edward and Midu on the medium tire, and it is optional for Oliver to come in, and he is coming in as well. That could get interesting and exciting in these laps now. Lap 7 out of 26. We've seen a couple of drivers making moves. Well, at the front of the field, it's quite calm and stabilized now, with Tyron in the lead of 4 seconds nearly, 3.9 seconds to his teammate, who is also just about 1 second ahead of Raichu, who is 2 seconds ahead of Edward, but Edward is not ahead of Midu by a long margin, as he's just 3/10 separating the two drivers. With Devin, who's on the hard tires, should expect him to stay out at least to lap 12 or 13 to make the most of those hard tires, and he should be staying out there for a while. While Brando is in P7, 7/10 to the Ferrari of Devin, who's on hard versus medium tires of Brando. But one thing we're going to watch out once again for, it could be Midu, who gets past Edward right there, both on the same tires, but he's got the DRS. Edward will have to defend. Has he got the battery? He sure has got a lot of battery to defend, and I think he's going to use all of that to his defense. But onto the hanger straight, but he won't even need it actually. Oh, maybe he does need it though, because Raichu's going to absolutely send a move on the inside, and he's past Edward before we can watch it even. And just with a blink of his eyes, Edward Raichu is past Edward, and Edward loses a place there. That was interesting, as we just saw Raichu. I thought, okay, he might not even need the ERS or battery. And I think Edward just braked a little bit too early, possibly relaxing a little, thinking I'm not going to be challenged. And the man gets challenged and overtaken by Raichu, as Raichu's nearly... Or has he, though? Oh, maybe not. All right. We might have misjudged it then. Sorry about that. Might have misjudged it. It was Midu. It was not Raichu. I believe so, because I'm not quite sure, because there was a Red Bull behind Edward, but I'm not sure whether it was Midu or Raichu, because Midu's came into the pits. Raichu ahead of Edward by 3.7 seconds, and there's no way he's going to gain that much time on him. So I'd possibly think it was Midu who actually came into the pits. That's why he got away from Edward. Even if he did make the overtake on Edward, he's going to be far away. But now Raichu within 5/10 of Ryan could be getting a move on Ryan there. And the Mercedes driver could be in danger, and the Mercedes team, of losing that Mercedes 1-2. But will that be the case? Not so much, as Raichu now comes into the pits as well. And pretty much all those drivers starting on the soft tire are off that tire now, with Raichu, who's decided to come into the pits just about right now and get that tires off as well, with Raichu off those tires. Now onto a set of brand new mediums. So as I said, you know, a medium soft could possibly work, but for that, Raichu would have had to do 2 or 3 more laps, at least 10 laps on those medium tires. So possibly even a medium hard can work as well. So let's say even if he goes and does next 7 laps on these tires, he's gonna still have a couple of laps to pit. Meanwhile, Ian is now within 4/10 of Raichu, and that is about to get interesting with Brando, who's the next driver within 4/10 of the next car, and he is of Oliver. It is the 2 RB drivers. One is about to overtake, the other is about to get overtaken right there, while Ian is unable to get past Raichu. So certainly he's going to stay out for a little bit longer right behind him before he gets past him. But that's only if he can get past him, though, because it's obviously going to be not so easy for him to get the move done. Maybe Brando can get the move done into Cops. He's not going to be close enough for him to get it done right there, while it'll be all to play for. Brando having it out. Brando could be now challenging on the hanger straight against Oliver there, and that'll get exciting. While at the front of the field, Ryan has came into the pits, so no more than 9 laps on those medium tires could be possible. Well, the McLaren driver is getting closer and closer. It could have a move on the RB ahead, but he will not, and he'll in fact get past as Brando on brand new hard tires. It might have been the cold tires, but Edward also on brand new soft medium tires gets past the McLaren as Brando Reynolds a little bit wide, and now onto the Hamilton straight. They'll be side by side. They nearly made contact, but absolutely brilliant racing into turn 1. It'll be Brando who gets the overtake and has the move, but he nearly takes the grass and gets a 3-second time penalty in doing so, and he might have to compromise the place onto the Wellington straight, the DRS, but even before that, Brando loses the place, and Edward gets past Brando and gets the move done, and brilliant racing between these drivers up at the in the midfield and in the back pack. So now Tyrone comes into the pits as well, and as I said, so Tyrone now 10 laps, but possibly then, so the medium tire doesn't last more than 6 or 7 laps as well, so that's actually going to be really well jobbed for Dees to have made the soft tire last for about 6 laps on that, so well done to him, actually 6 to 7 laps on that soft tire. Now he can make that medium tire work, but it's a question of for how long he's going to make it work, and again, you know, it's just 26 laps, so you have to pit before that 20 lap mark, so you know, at least you need to have 20 laps, and something has happened to the front, and that is Tyrone who spun round. Tyrone has spun round on his own, possibly just trying to come out of the pits, and he has hit the wall. Tyrone has got no front wing. Maybe he wanted to make it a little bit interesting for everybody, and it will be interesting now, unless he decides to drive without a front wing, but he's got no front wing on his car, and I believe that would have happened here for him to while exiting the pit lane, because remember, he's driving without traction control, and a lot of these things you could practice, but especially one that is race starts without traction control, and the other is a pit exit, which could get crucial after you get off the limiter. It's going to be Dees as he nearly overtakes Midu, as he almost nearly overtakes Ian, but has to back out of it. But now Tyrone is finding it really hard, and that could get really busy for him trying to come back, but that then opens the opportunity for everyone around, ladies and gentlemen. Now maybe it won't be the race Tyrone wins again, but that is hard to predict. While Midu gets past Ian, and Ryan now behind Ian as well. That's going to be interesting. Ian has got a couple of more laps on those hard tires than these guys behind and in front, so that tire deficit could play and come into control. Maybe it won't be much effective right now, but when they do many laps, that will be, and Tyrone get into the pits again right when he exited the pit lane. He's going to have to come in again, and maybe, just maybe, he's driving without the traction control tonight, so that could possibly also compromise his tire management skills as well, while Ryan's going to go around the outside into Woodcote. That's good. Could get exciting. Sorry, onto Brooklyn's on the exit now of Woodcote, onto the old pit straight before the Cops corner, but Ryan's already passed it. He doesn't need those corners to his support. Surely only he needs to get away, but before that the move is done. Well, Brando is in P9, while Brooks in P10, the final position, with DJ in P11, followed by Tyrone in P12, now right behind, ahead of Connell, and 27 seconds behind DJ, with Bruno in P14, Romero in P15, with X in P16. And Dees now comes into the pits, and I think that should be another hard tire. That's what I'd believe. So 12 laps on these hards. Possibly coming in next lap could have been the best, but, and that's exciting, a set of medium tires, so maybe he's not feeling well on those hards, but, so that'll be exciting. I think 13 laps remaining, so that pretty much actually will be just 13 more laps, but considering He did just 12 laps on the medium, trying to do 13 on the hards could be a challenge. So grip at the end of the race, of his race could be quite low. Midu on 5-lap old hards versus Ryan on 3-lap old hards. ERS, DRS, ERS, everything will be available to the Mercedes, and he gets past the Red Bull in no time, and the overtakes gets done. And nothing to worry about for Ryan unless Midu comes back at him and makes it really challenging. While Brando now right behind Oliver as Ollie runs a little bit wide. That could be an opportunity for Brando, but it certainly will not be. While it's just going to be a chance for Midu to get past Ryan as he's got closer, but Midu runs quite wide on the exits of Cops now into Megan Beckett. Does he gain place, or does he gain speed, or does he lose speed? Well, Dees is now in the lead, and he's on 6-lap old mediums. So that's interesting. So, but I'm just trying to think one thing here, that he started on the soft tire, and he's got 6 laps on his mediums already. Yeah, unless it's a glitch, because he started on the soft tire, remember, and he then pitted in, came in for a set of hard tires, which... Oh, that might have been a glitch then. It might have been a glitch because it said he's done 12 laps on those hards, which obviously... no, I think he did about 9 or 10 laps on those hards, which would technically be the case. So unless, I mean, unless he pitted for another set of soft tires, but I don't think that'll be a glitch though, because sure, we have all those sorts of glitches on F1 games, tire wear or tire overlay glitch. I haven't quite seen it over the years. You know, a lot of other great glitches have been there, but this one I don't think so. Meanwhile, Raitu is only 4/10s, right 4/10s behind Dees, who's on 7-lap old mediums, versus Raitu, who's on 5-lap old mediums. This could now get exciting with Tyron all the way down in P11. And if you're wondering what happened to Tyron, well, he pitted, and while coming out of the pit lane, he damaged his front wing, and he had to pit once again. And now that could get exciting. We might have another race leader with Raichu on the attack to Dees. Both of these drivers on the same medium tire, just 2 laps separating the two. Ryan right at the back as well. Maybe if it's not one Mercedes, it could be another one. But again, he could be. Will he be? We don't know, and we will only know after the challenge is on and after we have something to look out for. Well, again, the race lead in challenge, and it could be in challenge from Raichu right there at the front. He's going to do all to put all that pressure on Dees, who's already got a penalty, his second time penalty. 3 seconds to him though, and Dees is going to go defensive on Wellington straight on the inside. Now moves to the outside line, but Daichu's going to send it on the inside, and he gets past a Ferrari. Or does he though, as Dees is going to stay there, and he's going to send it again, and they'll be side by side. There might be a safety car. No, it won't be, as X is retired in the pit lane, and that'll be Raichu who gave the challenge to Dees, but Dees still stuck there and did not want to get past, did not want it to let his position go like that, and into Cops. He still leads ahead of Raichu, and into Megan and Beckett's they go now. There'll be a chance for Raichu once more onto the hanger straight. DRS will be available on the Red Bull, and now that might be his best opportunity, but you can still never say, as Raichu nearly loses it, and now Ryan comes from behind. It could now be a double trouble for Raichu, as he could not get past Dees, and he could be on the verge of getting overtaken by Ryan, who is just being a little bit patient and doesn't want to be a little bit too much aggressive, and it is. All right, the hard tire I was talking about. Sorry about that. I'm literally lost in this race. There was Devin who pitted on these hard tires. That's why I was saying he's done 12 laps. It was Dees who pitted for a set of medium tires and has done about 9 laps on those tires again. And the hard set of hard tires, in fact, another set of medium tires that should see him come into the pits now. So there should be no worries for our Ferrari driver, who could potentially, just potentially, not quite 100% sure, but can be a winner here tonight. And in a season that is Tyron dominated, that Mercedes dominated, not many other drivers have found a race to win. an opportunity like this is really a big opportunity. It's kind of a situation where you never know when it's going to come next. In a in a season that's single driver dominated, exactly like that. You know, you never know when is that going to come, and you definitely look for it moving forward. Now lap 16 out of 26, 10 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Ryan's going to go for it. Nearly, as he nearly tried to get past. Ryan's got a penalty as well. Remember, 3 seconds, sorry, as Raichu now going to come into the pits. So, interestingly, that medium tire is not lasting much more than 7 to 8 laps. And Raichu has now got a 10-second time penalty while trying to come into the pit lane. But, lap 17 now starting for our leader Ryan, who's on the hard tires, so possibly we'll expect him to stay out maybe till the end of the race. You know, let's say 3 plus 8 plus 9 laps from here. That would be quite hard to do, but now again it'll be the case. You know, either you have to pit now or you have to go to the end of this race, because again it's a case of you'd have enough speed, you'd have the tires you need, but there won't be enough laps for you to get the move or get past, and that could possibly create a situation you don't want to be in. And Devin now just ahead of Dees, who's 5/10 ahead of Raichu, and now this could get exciting once again. But I don't think Raichu's getting close enough to be making the move, or maybe he is, as Raichu's going to go for it on the inside line into Brooklyn's. Dees is going to stay around the outside. They're still going to be side by side. Dees was out the inside into the next corner, but he runs a little bit wide. That once more could give the opportunity to Dees, Raichu to come back, but it won't be the case this time. As Raichu has to back out, and exactly, I think into Brooklyn's. You know, you could have the outside, but again, on the exit into Woodcote, you get the inside line, so that's makes it quite easy. And Meggett and Beckett is going to be the least of places that you could not only on let's say on here on Silverstone, but even on the Formula 1 whole calendar, it'll be one of the places one of the places that'll have least overtakes, especially for its high speed. High speed, I mean, it's not even high speed. You could see drivers going side by side there, but then it's a case of narrowing of the track and the movement it has. You know, it's not a single straight that you could still stay side by side with the drivers. Certainly you'll have to back out of it, or eventually, you know, not like. And that indeed will be the case. Meanwhile, Raichu is on right here. Raichu will definitely like this one, so would indeed, as Raichu once again will go for it, but I think this time it's a little bit more calculated move. But no, whatever way Dees is on, he's still going to stay with you and go side by side and not let you overtake, but maybe not this time, as Raichu does get past Dees. Dees might come back at him into Cobbs. Will he send his car in there? No, he will not. He'll just stay out, and I think onto the hanger straight will be Dees' chance. That'll make it really easy and absolutely easier for him to get past, but I don't think it'll be really easy though, because 5/10 separating these guys. Meanwhile, Tyron, who is in P8 now, and his gap to the leaders is over 34 seconds, so he needs a lot of time. I don't think he'll have enough laps to get to the top. You never know though, it is still Tyron, he could do anything out about it, while Dees and Raichu are still going at it, and Dees has just stood behind Raichu for now, and yep, he's got not a lot of battery, but same goes for Raichu as well. They've just got enough to defend against each other, but not enough to go over, and so many drivers have actually got penalties in this race right there. Well, Ryan leads by over 13 seconds ahead of Devin, but Ryan could get awkward before the end of this Grand Prix, because this is his hard tires. Either he comes in, actually seriously, you know, on a note, trying to make the strategy work. Either he needs to come in right now, or he could still get messy for him. He could stay out though. He doesn't need to come in and, you know, not do the job. But he certainly will be getting exciting, and that could well be a bit of not a problem, but certainly could be a exciting thing that we get to see at the pretty end of this race. While D's and look at that, D's and Raichu Sixtens separating the two. Well, the two RP drivers are really not sugar free this time. They are really with some sugar, as they've got P6 and 7, both of them running in points. That is going to be a brilliant result as a team as well for the RP teams. For the RB team now right here, and Tyron now 3/10 to these drivers, and maybe, just maybe I am saying, Tyron will not be really able, no one will be able to slow them down, as that is exciting to see. He's got just 2/10 to the car ahead to the both RBs, and I think with his pace and speed, he might be able to get past both the RBs, but then 7 seconds to Midu. That could get exciting or awkward as well with D's, who's also not far away. But as far as Ryan's concerned, it could be this lap, or he's going to the end over 16 laps on those hard tire, which could get exciting, but possibly could get him the win as well. With Devin, who's on 7-lap old mediums as well, should be coming into the pits, while Raichu and D's both should be going to the end of this Grand Prix with no trouble, no issues or problems, as the two RP teammates along with Tyron within a second of each other. The only cars within a second of each other right there, which with the action we're watching, I think this action is going to be going for quite a while. And look at that, closer and closer these guys, as Brooks gets a penalty, and now only a handful of drivers who are without a time penalty in this race. It's a 3 that we're watching right now, and it's not Ian and those guys who doesn't have a penalty. Mead doesn't have a penalty. 1.8 seconds to Dees. He's lost out, but Dees has lost out to Raichu as well. So 1 second maybe could be gaining on him with special 7/10. Tyron now 5/4 to these guys, and that could indeed get exciting, and it also will decide whether Tyron gets closer to the lead. I don't think so now he can. I think it is Ryan who looks quite in control of this, but how much in control does he look though? Because 16 seconds the gap to the next car, who's also 3 seconds ahead. So even if he starts losing a second a lap from here, he's still going to be good enough. Even if he loses 2 seconds from here, it's still going to be good enough to keep his lead. Meanwhile, a yellow flag at the back of the grid, and that could get interesting, and it is going to be getting interesting. Romero down in P15. Okay then, so not a lot is happening right here, and in that much time we could Edward is now right behind Tyron. While we were watching about old Tyron catching up to the guys in front, he might be getting caught by these drivers at the back. And it is Edward in the Aston Martin, who's driven a brilliant race, not to forget this one as well. Well, Brando in P10 it is. Meanwhile, Midu gets past D's, and Midu gets the overtake ahead of the Ferrari with a Red Bull 2-3. While at the back, it is going to be Tyron, who loses a couple of places with Brando Edward past. Tyron in P10, and he's definitely struggling, and that streak of victories comes to an end, and that traction control that was keeping him alive, obviously just not the traction control, but these mistakes are just what ends up happening, and they become quite common without the traction control. And Tyron, who won every single race apart from one till now this season, is down in P11, lost on his own, while Raichu is on the way to get past the Ferrari as he spun round already there. There's a brilliant helicopter view as Devin just closed the door on the Red Bull, did not want to let him get past, and Devin is going to keep the lead for a little bit longer. While Raichu spun round, Midu's now going to go after him. 1.2 seconds with D's in P4. And that could get exciting, while Edward is within 2/10 of the RB as well. That is going to be quite a bit exciting and interesting, and Edward runs wide again, and I'm not sure if he's going to keep doing that. He will not get a penalty with Devon, who now does get a pass, does get overtaken by Midu, as Midu gets the overtake done, and definitely 4-lap hards right now, compared to those 9-lap all mediums are going to be feeling really good, but Ryan looks absolutely okay to take the victory. So it might not be one Mercedes, it will be the other who wins, but it's not Tyrone that's on it. Meanwhile, there's a Haas who's on his own, and that is Connabell, who just spun on the Hamilton straight, and that's going to be him finding it quite difficult to keep it on the track. But now not a lot of the action is remaining with these remaining laps, as Dees will try and get past Devon there as well. They'll be side by side as Devon lets Dees get past, and Dees on to B3. Both of them got a penalty, so it'll be exciting to see. Both of them 3 seconds. Who gets it? Well, Raichu behind these guys has got 10 seconds, and Ryan's got 3 seconds, but Ryan is over 17 seconds ahead of the next car, so it's going to be interesting. Special hasn't got in, so possibly both RPs moving forward, at least Oliver, though, as Ian's got a 3-second time penalty as well. 6 seconds to Brando. Brooks is in P10 with a 3-second time penalty. Tyrone hasn't got a penalty, but is outside the top 10. Could possibly have a chance if he finishes within 6 seconds of Brando, but only if he does, which looks quite unlikely. Maybe can. Then 9 seconds to DJ, 12 to Bruno, and 6 seconds to Romero, and 3 seconds to Connabell, as nearly we were on board with Devon. He loses out, as Devon's ran a brilliant race as well, while the fight for a positions now on our place, and that's going to be Edward, who's 4 tenths behind RB, behind the RB of Oliver, but he's still staying out, so that's interesting. Alright then, lap 24 out of 26. Our leader looks stronger than ever, losing time, but still not enough for him to bring him down unless he makes a mistake on his own. Despite doing over 14 laps on these hard tires, which would make it 15 at the end of it, so 17 total laps on these hard compound tires in a race where nobody else could do more than 13 or 14 laps on these hard tires. It is going to be the 2 Mercedes drivers. Tyrone, despite his spins, should be doing over 14 laps on those hards as well, so that explains he would have been able to pretty much finish the race on those tires if he wasn't gonna be having a spin, or I mean, he's anyways gonna finish the race on these tires, but a 1-stop would have been the case had he not had that spin. Also looking at stops, everybody has 2 stops, including Tyrone, apart from Devon, who's now just coming into the pits. We'll have Tyrone and Ryan then as a 1-stop as well. So so Tyrone also has a 1-2 stop, but obviously that was because of his front wing damage to start, but then again that comes the argument of that was his own mistake as well, so you can't really say that was the case of luck and stuff. But then look at this, Brando, 3/10 to Edward. That could be a move coming up from Brando, and sure will be a move coming up from Brando into Brooklyn's, goes on the inside. As Edward's going to run a little bit wide, that could allow, but Brando runs absolutely wide. That was good, almost 2 cars could get past him there. Both will be side by side on a set of hard tires, but Brando will just do enough to stay ahead of Edward and not let him get past that easy. And once again, it's going to be Edward who's going to have to work a little bit harder, a little bit more than what he has to do so far. That work is going to be quite tricky to really held that off. And there's two cars in the back who are spun round. It's the Williams and it is the McLaren of Romero, I think. At the very back of the grid, the two drivers are spun round on their own with Brando, who's now lost out time as well. Oh, as Edward narrowly takes out Brando right by going into the back of him. But Special and Ian, the two RB drivers, running in P5 and 6. This could be the result of the season, race of the season for these two. And I think they're almost still not good enough as a senior team, but still enough as a junior team. And Romero's now retired of the session, possibly having too many spins, rounds, and mistakes. Would have just simply thought himself of retiring. Well, we have our race leader that is on your screen now. We'll come back to him in a couple of moments. Well, Ian is going to have to defend from his teammate Oliver. That's going to make it his life quite interesting. Whilst Dees gets past Raichu, Raichu gets past Dees. The overtake is done. Meanwhile, Ryan has made the impossible possible. Nobody was able to beat Tyron with the mistakes from Tyron and a one-stop strategy that was magic, work like magic, working on those hard tires for over 17 laps. It's going to be Ryan who comes over the line to win the British Grand Prix and takes victory. It becomes the only second driver apart from third driver apart from Tyron to win a race this season. Midu comes in P2, and that'll have to be Raichu over the finish line, make it a double Red Bull podium, but only to get snatched by Dees, who's going to come over the line, take P3, and Ian is going to come home to finish P5, but his teammate Special should take it, and Raichu's penalties are Raichu's Raichu's positions are taken, and Oliver P4 for him, and a mega drive from both the RP drivers in P4 and 6, and not to ignore Edward, the man, finishes in top 5. That has to be top driving from these guys. And Tyron in the end ends up getting in the point with penalties to drivers in front, with Raichu in P7, Brando in P8, Tyron in P9, and Brooks in P10, with Devon in P11, followed by DJ in P12. He's about to come over the line with Conabel and Bruno, the P13 and 14, the two drivers. And what an end we've had to this race. And again, it is Ryan who's won this race. And it is a brilliant race for sure. Everybody was racing side by side, wheel to wheel, every now and then. And racing has continued, and it surely does. So do the celebrations. It has been one Mercedes driver's consistent every time at the top, but then it's going to be another. But again, it's the Silver Arrows who stand at the top, and that team in Mercedes has been doing some brilliant work. Well, we'll have another look at the race results. Tyron wins ahead. Sorry, Ryan, as we're so used to saying that, with Ryan wins ahead of Mido in P2, with Dees in P3 getting the podium, with Oliver, who started in P10, finishes P4. Edward, who started all the way in P7, finishes P5. Ian, who started all the way down in P11, finishes P6. That has to be some brilliant overtaking and position gains. Raichu started P4, finishes down in P7, as Brando in P8, with Tyron starting on pole, finishes in P9, with Brooks losing a place as well, finishing in P10 after starting in at P9. But Devon, DJ, Conabel, and Bruno, the bottom four drivers, with Romero and X having to retire out of this Grand Prix. So drivers out here, drivers ready to now go and celebrate, especially the winners who have done an excellent job to maintain everything. But that's going to be the end of it then, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all watching had fun. And once more, it was myself, Zappe, bringing you guys all the action from New Age F1 Championship. And if you weren't entertained already, just to announce, Season 7 is going to be live within a couple of weeks, and that should be even better, and the racing action is only going to get even better. And that was it then, ladies and gentlemen. It's a bye-bye, adios, see you next week.